Good morning, PD. You're listening to Live and Local Mornings for Florence and the PD on Live 95.
Welcome back to Good Morning PD Live 95. The kneeling movement. Something else I don't fully understand, but now it's made its way to city and county councils. Some of these planning commission meetings.
You mean like kneeling for the national anthem? Like
Correct.
NFL?
Well, I mean, it's just the kneeling movement.
Okay.
I mean, we've got the, this movement and that movement, the Me Too movement and the kneeling movement. And don't confuse the Me Too movement with the kneeling movement because we're separate issues and we're serious about, raising awareness to whatever needs to be, whatever awareness needs to be raised. But I saw, it's not just football players now. There's actually a couple of examples across the country where people in hypothetically a county council meeting and somebody chooses to kneel instead of standing and, not necessarily putting your heart. No, I mean, I'm serious. This happening a lot over the country. I mean, I think there's at least a half dozen instances or examples of people in local governing bodies or local commissions, who are choosing to use that as an opportunity. Now, I will say this, and I hate to make a decision or a determination from afar, but it appears to me that everybody I've seen kneel is under the age of 35. I mean, I guess it's just something that this young generation takes more
certainly at
these
these meetings of these councils, they're not singing the national anthem, but they do a pledge of allegiance, and they're kneeling. So they're really kneeling during the pledge of allegiance to the flag and the country.
Correct.
Okay.
Hey, I found
what
this.
in the world is going on with this?
We were talking
country?
about the changing demographic.
What in the world?
The changing demographic of America. If I asked you and Alec, I'm asking you a lot of questions this week. If I asked you and Alec, what percentage of American households speak no English in that household? You would say.
Speak no English?
No English.
I have a feeling this number is going to surprise me. I'm going to say 10%.
Okay.
I was going to say 1% to 2%.
22%.
I knew that number was going to be higher than I thought.
22%
no English
of American households today speak no English. I'm not saying no, but when they're together, I mean, I would imagine they get out of the workplace, they have to learn some level of it. Not much. This is mind-boggling to me. We live in America. English is the language, our native language. Now, I'm not saying it's the official language of the USA. There's always a movement. We need to make English the official language of the United States. Well, I mean, when you get money out of the bank, what are you asked? You want this transaction in English or Espanol? I don't know that there's another language out there that is predominant enough to suggest that's a legitimate question. But 13.5% of the U.S. population are foreign-born. That's the highest it's ever been. We've never had that many foreign-born people living in America. 13.5% of our population were not born here. That's 44 million people. This is kind of mind-boggling when you think about it. And look, we're a diverse nation. We're kind of the melting pot of the world. Some people, crazy people, believe the Statue of Liberty represents our immigration policy. That's the most ludicrous thing imaginable. I mean, that's ridiculous. JT made such a valid point a couple of weeks ago when he tried to explain exactly what potentially the Statue of Liberty has done for America. Some of the lack of wanting to be self-supportive. Give us your, all these, give us your weak, you're tired, you're,
huddled masses,
you're beaten down. So you got 13.5% of the U.S. population of foreign-born. That's the most ever, 44 million people. 22% of American households do not speak English. 31% in Nevada. 30% in Florida. 27% in New York. 24% in Texas, 24% in California. That's unbelievable to me. So you've got these heavily populated states like Florida, California, Texas, New York, where roughly, give or take, 1 in 4 families, when they're having their family time, speak no English. I'm like Alec. I thought it would have been 8. And I thought I'd be a little high there. You said 1 or 2%. 22% of American households speak as their primary language I mean, we know where the predominant driver of that is. It's not immigration from Israel. I mean, we had a huge Jewish influx, you know, in the New York Harbor. If you ever go visit Ellis Island, there are the visuals there to remind you of how important immigration has been to this country, Italian immigrants. But the majority of our issues today, and the reason we've got 13.5% of our population foreign born, is and I'll say it, I don't mind saying it, I'm not trying to be a provocative radio show host, the absolute invasion of our southern border. That's what it's been. It's not been orderly. It's not been lawful. It has been an invasion from Central America and South America and some other countries south of the United States. They have accessed our country through the Mexican border in a way that is unimaginable. And you end up with a country that 22% of its population don't speak English as their, I guess, the official family language. I dare say the official, language of the country of the United States. But I always thought we were an English-speaking nation. You go to Florida, and the further south you go to Florida, you will feel like a foreigner. I mean, you will feel like the minority. As you speak English, you will absolutely feel like there's more people down here speaking a different language than I'm speaking, and I'm still in my country. Now, I can't talk about California, Southern California. I've never been to Southern California, but I hear, that, and I read a lot, it's kind of the same dynamic in Southern California. You speak English, you feel like you're in the minority. And when you look at 22%, ain't a lot of people in Green Bay speaking something other than I mean, it's these heavily populated states around our border, Florida, Texas, California in particular. And if you come to America, for some reason, a lot of foreign-born Americans try to find their way to New York. If I can make it there, I can make it anywhere.